These books are from several institutes and organizations. We got these books in 1973 from here in Maastricht, which was called a priest education, so to call, which was the Canisianum, called in Latin. And the other part was, we got the books from the Bergmanianum, which is for a place, a city in Holland, which is Nijmegen, in the province of Gelderland. And another part we got back then was from Warmond, near Heemstede, which is near Haarlem, in the west of Amsterdam. So that were the three crucial institutions that we got our books from back in the beginning of the 70s. And perhaps you know that that was also, of course, the start of University of Maastricht. So that collection serves as a base for our book collection from Maastricht University. What do you know about the Jesuits so far, by the way? Because I talked about the special collections. The most important collection and the biggest one was from the Jesuits. What do you know about the Jesuits? Silence.
They went on many missions to recover knowledge.
Okay.
And is seen as rather liberal by many people and not really well perceived by some Catholic instances.
Correct. Some other remarks? It's correct what you say, because and that's also the crucial part of this collection, of the Jesuit collection, that there is a lot in it. So normally you'll find most of the books are theological, so religious in nature. But because these were Jesuits, we said, well, we like our friends, but we keep our enemies even closer. So they had to read nearly everything, also about their enemies, also about other religions and other disciplines. So in the collection you can find a lot of books, not only about theology, but also about philosophy, about medicine, about social sciences as well. The later became the 19th century psychology, sociology, anthropology, disciplines like that. And literature, law, of course, not to forget law. So it's a broad classical collection, which was the foundation of the library collection of Maastricht University. Back in the days, which was in the beginning of the 70s, Maastricht bought the collection, what Dutch government did, but that collection was housed in the former, so to speak, Jesuit cloister at the Tongersestraat 53. Do you know the building? SBE, School of Business and Economics. Well, the collection was housed there. And from the 1980s onwards, every now and then, every few years, the collection was structurally inventoried to see what was in the collection, because no one at the university in the beginning knew what it was about. And they thought most of it was theological in nature. But later on they found out that there was a big part law in it, and some other disciplines as well. And even in the beginning, books were stacked, so they were in boxes. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I think
no, you're wrong. Yeah, you're wrong.
Okay, so you should correct me then.
No, there was. I don't know. How's the?
I wasn't here back then, so he was.
I was there already. I went into the library in '94, and it was still in its old place. So in the old economics faculty, there is on top of the aula there is the library wing. So there were lower floors, but you had 4 floors of library there. Everything was on the shelves. So it went to boxes when this library was built, and temporarily everything was housed in the cellars of the government archives, of the regional archives. So for a while, all the library was taken away from the economics faculty, went to in boxes to the library. But before that, it was everything on the shelf. So everything, I've been there several times and showed you had a whole Warmond wing and the Canisius, so they were still separate there. Everything was, of course, on cards. So there was a complete overview of all the books, but not electronically, but just on old paper cards. And it was the usual way. So in fact, it was known what was there. People from, especially Mr. Professor de Groot from law,
Yeah.
knew quite well that there was a lot of law. But indeed, it was not generally very well known inside the university. That's really correct. So indeed, and then from the boxes, it moved back to this building when this building was finished at the end of the 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Something like this. So it was housed for during a few years in boxes and not used very much. Yeah.
We're talking about some 11 kilometers of books downstairs. It's not like this. See, if you enter the space, you think, well, okay. But all these books, and you see that in a couple of minutes, you have bookcases, and you can, perhaps you saw that once, you have a wheel, and you can turn the wheel, and then you have separate bookcases as well. But you'll see it later on. Some 260,000 volumes we have, and within this Jesuit collection we also have some sub-collections. During the years, in recent years, we saw that some of the material we got downstairs, you could group them, for example, into a collection which is called the Price Volume Collection, which is a collection of books with beautiful front jackets. I'll tell you later something about the history of the books itself, but that is what they call a subset within the Jesuit collection, and that's one of the collections that's in the vault. Some other collections, we have a Nazi collection as well. What I told you before, keep your enemies even closer. Well, that's one of the things they read as well, so part of that is another collection. And there are hidden collections. Because I don't know whether, you know, there are some things that are not well known or not known at all. Perhaps there is some collection within the Jesuit collection that we can still take them out as one subset and make them available for education and research. So there are some subsets as well that we yet don't know, but in the future perhaps we will see what those are about. At the moment, 90% of the collection is ready for use for research and education, and you can find that in our catalogue. I talked about the Jesuit collection, but that is only one part, although it's the biggest part, but that's only one part. The special collections, or the heritage collections like they call them, consist of more than the Jesuit collection. We also have what they call the Charles Eyck documentation collection, which is, Charles Eyck was a Limburg painter, well known in Holland and abroad as well, but we have the documentation and the correspondence, the letters he wrote with friends as well, and that's available for reference for research as well. We have what they call the Pierre Kemp collection, or better said, the Pierre Kemp library. Pierre Kemp was a Maastricht poet, and we have his entire library, so the books he kept at home. We also have his letters and his correspondence and all the other manuscripts he owned, so that's also downstairs in the vault. What do we have? The other things, a Peter de Bie collection as well. He was a Dutch physicist. He even won a Nobel Prize in 1936, and we also have his personal library downstairs. So just to say that the Jesuit library, although most important, is not the only collection we have downstairs. We also have some additional sub-libraries or subsets. Perhaps you have something to add, or Annemieke, or perhaps you have any questions?
Yeah, I would like to add something on the history of the Jesuit library.
Okay.
Is that okay? So it's good to realize a few things. That is, on the one